Hi there, my name is Blaine Birch. I'm co-founder and CEO at Dryrun, and I'm going to walk you through just a short overview of Dryrun, some of the benefits, and some of the technologies that we offer that can help businesses manage their cash flow and forecast into the future to see where their business is headed. So in Dryrun, we start with two key pillars that we live by. Number one is we like to make the forecast highly visual and approachable, easy to understand at a glance for management teams. And then the second pillar is to give finance pros as much control and flexibility as we can within a system that makes sense, that's standardized, easy to understand, and really fast. So this is likely the simplest view you would ever see in dry run. In this forecast right now, we have just a single scenario. It's fully collapsed. And you can see on the graph, we just have the running total. So it's really easy to understand where the business is headed. If I flip to the net cash view, it's one of my favorite views in dry run. That's where you can start to see some of the months where you actually may be burning cash. And so when your revenue forecast is also in dry run and you're looking a little further ahead, it helps you spot some of those months where maybe you have to get the sales team really working to backfill with some deals. And if I expand this first scenario, you'll see that by default, we split dry run into three sections: cash in, cash out, and recurring. Now, typically with our clients, but not all the time, they tend to be doing AP and AR management. Oftentimes, they have a lot of overdue invoices, maybe even some overdue bills. They tend to be larger transactions, and they're following up on them and adjusting the timing so they understand exactly what's happening in their cash flow. But we also work with businesses that have a high volume of transactions as well. So if I expand this cash in section, you'll see that we've got all of our open invoices here, and anything that's overdue is marked in red. It'll tell you exactly how many days overdue. And anything with a calendar badge is something that's still due into the future and likely not to be paid quite yet. So from a cash management perspective, we know there's oftentimes a lot of people in and out of the forecast following up on some of these invoices. And let's say someone followed up on this invoice and it likely isn't going to be paid till maybe into June. We simply change the date, bump it back, and we'll flag it in orange so you can see exactly when you're likely to be paid those dollars. Now, we can also go back in time in dry run, and you'll see that any of the accounts that are in black are from the actuals coming from the accounting file, or maybe they're even uploaded from a spreadsheet. There's a number of different ways to get data into dry run. But you can also see that as I hover over it, you can see the budget to actuals or your forecast actuals, however you want to look at it. And it'll help you at the end of the quarter, end of the year to see how you performed based on what you thought was actually going to happen. And into the future here, you'll see any of the accounts that are in blue are forecast. Now, in this case, they're auto forecast with one of the dry run algorithms that either can map to last year, map to the average of last year, base your forecast on a recent month, or you can build your forecast right in dry run. You can upload a budget you already have, whatever you want to do. But we like to get you started really fast so that you can start to adjust that forecast on the fly. Cash out is very similar. It's basically your AP, and you can see our bills here, which ones are overdue and when they're expected to be paid. In this case, we've mapped our COGS accounts into the cash out section so that we can keep track of the one-off large bills, and we can separate that out from those regular fixed expenses. And that's what you'll see in our recurring section is generally just those regular repeating fixed expenses such as payroll, loan payments, and those sorts of things. Now, these sections are also highly customizable. So you can map any account into them. You can make additional sections, rename them, organize whichever way you want. Something that Dryrun's really good at is what if modeling. So in this case, I simply duplicated the scenario that I've already built, and I want to rapidly build out some sort of what if. I'm going to look at a what if of, hey, I want to start a new project. I need to buy some materials. Do we have enough cash on hand? We are going to consider taking in a loan. So I can simply add a transaction here and look at the difference on the graph. And now I can actually add the purchase. And I can now see on the graph that we're taking in a loan. We've bought our materials. We've kept a little bit of money there for some wiggle room. And so it's really easy to model out what ifs really rapidly in dry run. Now, another way to model in dry run is to actually just adjust the forecast that in this case was built through our auto forecast virtually instantly. And so I can click on one of our auto forecast amounts here, and I can just simply change the forecast. Let's say I want to bump our advertising budget by 20%. Type in 20%. Here's my adjustment. I can also go in and just simply change the amount and say, oh yeah, here's our utilities are going to change to 500 a month. But I can go into much more depth. Let's say instead of just changing the amount, I also want to change the repeat type. So if I've gone to weekly view in Dryrun, now I can see exactly what week that transaction is going to land. I can also see exactly what week I expect different invoices and bills to land. So I'm just going to touch on some of the power that you have to model in Dryrun. Once it sets up, if you want it to, it'll run forever. And finally, in Dryrun, getting your data in is not only a snap, it can be adjusted in an infinite number of ways when you import it, but also after it's imported. You can adjust, move, turn on, turn off, any way you want to work with your data. I can select classes, I can select locations, I can select bank accounts that maybe this location runs from. I can turn on and off different income accounts. I can map my expenses to whatever section I want. And auto forecast, I can adjust any way I want. I can map to a yearly average based on a recent month, based on last year, or I can even turn it off and build it right in Dryrun. Now I have 3 scenarios in Dryrun. And let's say these were 3 different locations rather than a what if scenario. I can also consolidate them in just a couple of clicks. And now I can see how my business is doing overall. I can even turn on our variance graph, look at what is coming in, what's going out, our budget to actuals, net cash view, cash end view, and I can start to visualize where our business is headed. So if you'd like to learn more, come talk with us at Dryrun. We would love to walk you through a demo. Thanks again.